Hello and welcome to the virtual college exploration for all North and South Carolina students, sponsored by the Carolinas Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers and StriveScan. We appreciate you all joining us today. A few housekeeping announcements before we go live. You can use the Q&A feature on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the presenters cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at CACRAO.org. That's CACRAO.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at that same website, CACRAO.org. I'd like to now turn it over to our presenters.
Share. Well, hello everyone, and I would like to thank you for joining us this afternoon. We have a wonderful panel that we're going to share some important information with you about our health science programs and occupations where you don't have to necessarily be a nurse, because a lot of people think they want to be nurses until they actually see blood for the first time, and then they totally freak out and decide that that's not the option for them, but they do want to be in the healthcare field. So I'm going to introduce our panel to you, and you can ask us plenty of questions at the end. And once again, thanks for joining us. So I actually have Madeline Ryan with West Virginia University. I have Rachel Campbell with Emory and Henry College. I have Brenna Johnson with Johnson and Webb. I have Caroline Vanderpool with Gardner and Webb. And I also have our guest speaker who's going to share more insight on everything, Dr. Annette Webster. She's going to give you some information that it's really going to enlighten you. So we're going to go ahead and get started for now. I'm going to share my screen so you can actually see our information. All right, here we go.
Well, thank you, Shannon. Thank you, everybody, for having us here. I am so excited about healthcare and healthcare services. I am a clinician. I'm a physical therapist assistant. I practice in over 3 decades now. I've seen a lot of changes, a lot of great new, exciting changes within our patients and within our industries. But I also, in the middle of my career, understood that healthcare is a business. And then I started seeing the other side of things. Healthcare providers and clinicians save lives, and we increase the quality of lives of our patients. Healthcare leaders in administration do the same thing for organizations. We increase the quality of lives for our staff and our stakeholders' professional experiences that they have. Healthcare industry alone is about 18% of our GDP. And in the past, we've seen about 20% of cost in healthcare be associated with administrative costs. So what we need is, along with clinicians, along with the nurses and the doctors and the therapists and all of the ancillary positions that we have in acute care and home health and outpatient, we need innovative leaders within healthcare to help us reduce that cost and be more effective and efficient. Some of the common characteristics of those innovative leaders would be an effective communication, being able to present yourself in presentations, but also in writing, strategic decision-making and analytic skills, management skills oriented to the community's needs, understanding what we do in our profession is looking at healthcare and the needs within our community and being able to meet those needs, because each of our communities are a little bit different. So as healthcare leaders, we're going to look out within our community and see what we can find. And we want to be able to increase access. We want to be able to offer new services to patients. We want to increase quality and at the same time do a little cost containment. I do want to share, I'll share my screen with you because I want you to look at a couple different positions. Let's see. I'm sorry for the delay. The first one that we're going to look at is healthcare managers. Healthcare managers, in the next 10 years, the growth and the need for healthcare managers are going to increase over 32%. What we're looking at is the median pay of, and I want to make sure that I'm sharing my screen correctly here.
Actually, give me a few seconds. I'm trying to, Madeline, if you want to tell me what I need to do for that part again, to share with Dr. Webster. She wants to share her screen.
Well, that's okay. If I can't, we can sit here and talk. That's not a problem.
Okay.
That's not a problem. The median pay for healthcare managers, we're looking in the next 10 years to be around $100,000. We've seen that increase from $90,000 from last year's $98,000. We're going to need about 32%. Our industry is growing 32% faster than a normal industry. So now you do not graduate and walk into those jobs. What you do is you get the foundation from the colleges that you see represented here today. You will get the foundation of your industry, whether it is clinical or if it's administrative. You will have the information you need to be able to leave college and explore the professional world. Healthcare leaders are looking at around $100,000 with 32% growth. There's also biomedical engineers. These biomedical engineers help to produce medical equipment. They help to work with therapists on producing artificial limbs and anatomical parts for our patients. Biomedical engineers for the next 8 to 10 years have a 5% growth rate projected, and they're looking at about $90,000. Occupational therapists and occupational therapist assistants, we're looking at a growth rate of 16 and 32% within the next 10 years. We're also looking at salaries for the assistants around $60,000 and salaries for the OTDs, the occupational therapists with their doctorate, around $85,000. And these are just general, these are the median pay across the country. Some areas are going to be a little less, some areas are going to be a little more. It's up to you and your characteristics within yourself and your drive to be able to climb that ladder and reach these goals that we're talking about. Physical therapists and physical therapist assistants, we're looking at $89,000 to $90,000 for the DPT, the doctorate of physical therapist, and the assistant about $50,000. I'm a physical therapist assistant. I've worked in 30 years. I still work as part-time, as we refer to it, PRN. And I have many colleagues that have progressed very well by combining skills on the clinical side with combining them with the administrative part as well. We know that nurses and doctors are in demand. Pre-PA, we have the need for physician's assistants. We have the need for veterinarians. We have the need for dentists, for ophthalmologists, for optometrists, but also our nurses. And our nurses now are RNs, and most of our nurses are looking for their BSN. But once you receive that BSN, you can move up to nurse anesthetist, nurse practitioner, nurse midwives. That group of nurse professionals are at a master level, and they have a 45% growth rate from here over the next 10 years. And their median annual salary is about $115,000. All of this information that I'm talking about comes from the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics. So this is not the information that I have or through my research. This is the information that you can get through the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics. Healthcare is a business. There is a growing field. There's a growing need. You do not have to be a clinician. Informatics, there's several different areas that I've pulled up today just looking. the healthcare information system managers, the ones that help the clinicians talk to each other. How does the doctor's office talk to the hospital? It talks to the lab, it talks to the diagnostic center. This is all arranged through information management and information exchange, health information exchange, health information management is a growing field. Over the next 10 years, we're looking at a 12% growth rate and median salaries in about 140,000. Remember, that's the median salary. So that means that there's some a little bit higher and some a little less. The healthcare field is wide open to many different areas. You do not have to be a clinician. And like Shannon said, that's okay. There's plenty of opportunity. We would love for you to contact any of the representatives that you see here today. We can share the information with you. We'll be glad to answer questions. Healthcare is a growing field, and there's so much. We're needing those innovative minds to make us better. So there's so many things that you can do in the healthcare field. Remember, we're 18% of the country's gross domestic product. So there's a lot of area in here. So we would love to answer any questions that you might have. And I'll turn it back over to the ladies. Shannon?
Thanks, Dr. Webster. Just a couple quick questions and we're going to keep moving forward. So what type of internships should the students kind of look out for once they get to that point?
Each of your organizations, each of your universities or schools will help you set those internships up. It depends on the discipline itself. Before you even go into PT or OT, they want you to have some observation hours. So those are not really internships; those are just observation hours. Okay. So we can work with you, touch base with your university. We can work with you and connect you and help you network with those professionals in your community. And then when you are in the programs, we will help set up clinical interns and administrative internships.
I think I kind of jumped ahead of myself, but I was getting excited about that. We'll let the students ask the questions at the end, but I know somebody's thinking about that. So we'll wait to that, and then even about licensure and all that kind of stuff. So let me move on. So if these students are getting excited about what the process is, there's a couple things that you actually need to do. What are your next steps? So one of the first things you have to do first, the next step is, I would say, and I didn't put this on here, but research the schools that actually have the programs that you're interested in. So if that particular school, make yourself a list of about 10 schools maybe, and if they all have the programs that you're interested in, I would say apply to all 10. The next step after that would be to complete an application, submit your required documents, complete a FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. Do I have to pay for an application? It's different for every college. So some do not require an application fee and some do. So make sure you find out before, and then sometimes if through the school system, sometimes they waive application fees, but you need to check with the institutions to find out that information. What documents do I need to submit? Again, each individual college has different requirements, so you would have to find out from each school what are the expectations and what are they looking for. How do I apply for more scholarships? Well, there's different types of scholarships, from merit-based, athletic, state-specific, and even simple things as if you're left-handed, if you wear glasses like me, if you're less than 5 feet tall. So there's so many different scholarships. I would recommend start your scholarship search now. Don't wait until December. Start looking to see what you can find now. Can I visit the campus? Again, it's very specific towards each college. Some private schools and even some smaller schools may be open, but I would prefer you to call and check, or email, or check their website to see if they're taking visitors or are they only doing virtual right now. If you have more questions, who do I talk to? It's us. Everybody do this so they'll know it's us, the admissions team. The admissions team. We're going to be your first point of contact. We're going to be able to assist you and tell you everything that you're going to need. And you may have to be referred to someone on campus, but overall, we'll be your main contact person to get you started. Don't hesitate to ask us questions. Don't think that any questions are dumb questions. So please feel free to reach out to us to let us know what we can assist you with. It only takes a call or a quick text, which most of you enjoy texting. So that's the beginning steps. Now you've done all the things that you need to do and you've been accepted. So what happens next? We're going to all individually share with you about our schools. So what I'm going to share with you is a little bit about St. Andrews and why it could be a fit, or I'm not going to say that if I don't have a program that you're interested, I may refer you to Rachel. I may even send you to Caroline. I may even send you to Brenna, or I may even send you to Madeline. So let me tell you what we offer. 90% of our students actually qualify for financial aid. So they receive financial aid. We have 22 majors and we also have 22 minors. What I can say, because I don't want to take a long time to explain this, but I want to say St. Andrews is a family. We have little under 1,000 students, but the one thing that our students love is that it's a 14-to-1 ratio, which means if Dr. Webster is one of your professors, she's going to know if you missed class, and she's probably going to reach out and say, hey, Shannon, where were you today? I missed you. So basically, you're getting that one-on-one attention. We have students that represent over 35 different states and 26 different countries. We were actually voted one of the most diverse universities in North Carolina. We actually have 3 equestrian intercollegiate sports. We actually have 27 varsity NAIA sports. And if you're interested in applying, you can actually see we have Q&R codes at the top, but I'll be happy to share that information with you at any point, and we'll all give you our information at the very end. So moving on, and if you want to grab your phone and you want to just scan one of the barcodes on there, you can do that, and basically it'll take you to our websites and set up a visit. On to you, Madeline. We can't hear you.
Thank you. The West Virginia University system has 3 distinct campuses, but our flagship campus is in Morgantown, West Virginia, which is located in the northern part of the state, just about 6 hours from Charlotte and 8 hours from Charleston, South Carolina. We have 30,000 undergraduate, graduate, and professional students representing all 50 states and 118 countries, and we're actually 51% non-resident. So we have 14 schools and colleges on campus, but 5 of them have a focus on within the health sciences. So they are listed here. So one of the great things about how we have our campus set up is that our health services students get to take classes together in the Health Sciences Center. So you'll be able to network with other healthcare professionals outside of your specific school or college on campus. So you're taking classes together. We also have our Rubin Memorial Hospital. It's a level 1 trauma center hospital right on campus. It's part of the WVU medicine system that I'll talk about a little bit later. So you can actually earn 1,100 hours of clinicals before you graduate. We do have some great direct admission options for some of our graduate and professional degrees as well. Here's a snapshot of those 14 schools and colleges that I listed. And even though we may be a larger campus, we do have a pretty small student to faculty ratio with 18:1. And then as you get into your major specific courses, usually after that first year, sometimes first semester for nursing and engineering students, you'll actually be able to have smaller classes as well, smaller than the 18 that I listed there. We are one of 130 institutions with an R1 research certification. So we encourage you to get to begin your research at the undergraduate level, even as early as your first semester. And we are also we play within the Big 12 Division I for athletics. So I just listed that as well there for you on the side. We have some exciting news. We do have our children's hospital that is being completed this year. So you can see some additional ways that you can get involved in the health services industry right there on our Morgantown campus. And our application is online. So we have the West Virginia University online application and the Common App. We have no preference for either. You can send in test scores if you'd like. We are test optional for our fall and spring 2021 terms. So please do reach out to me later. But if you go to our admissions website, admissions.wvu.edu, wvu.edu, you'll find all of this information there.
Hey guys, my name is Caroline and I work at Gardner Webb University. We are located in the booming metropolis of Bowling Springs, North Carolina. If you don't know where that's at, basically we are directly between Charlotte, North Carolina and Asheville, North Carolina, about an hour away from both of those cities. Total enrollment, we have about 3,500 students. Traditional undergraduate on campus, about 2,000 students. On every building of our campus, we have a plaque, and it's the scripture from Mark 12, where Jesus compels his disciples to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And so our everyday life at Gardner Webb, we try to stick to those 4 pillars. So we do have a vibrant Christian community. Similar to St. Andrews, we are a family around here. We have over 60 majors, and I'll touch on some of our health science majors in just a second, but your average class size is going to be 20 to 25. You are never, ever, ever going to have a class bigger than 35, which means it's a 13-to-1 student to faculty ratio. We are Division I athletics. We are in the Big South Conference. So when it comes to our health science majors, we do have a number of those. Exercise science, we do have a pre-physical therapy track with that, as well as a health nutrition track with that. Healthcare management, this is going to be more of your business side. And then our pre-professional pathways, which you see listed right here. 2 programs that I want to highlight, 3 programs I want to highlight is our physician's assistant program. We actually do have a PA program on campus. So if that is something that you're interested in, know that you can do all of that at Gardner Webb. Our exercise science program, we actually have a 5-year program where you are going to get your undergraduate and graduate degree for exercise science so that you can be an athletic trainer. And then we do have a nurse practitioner program as well. So those are our 3 graduate level health professional fields. And then our application, we are test optional for fall of 2021. Our application is online, it's free, there's no essay. There's no reason you shouldn't fill it out, basically is what I'm saying. And we have rolling admissions, which means you apply and about 2 weeks later, you know an admissions decision. Every student, as soon as they're accepted, receives a merit-based scholarship. That is dependent on your GPA. Average GPA is about a 3.5, and you can see over to the left, here's some more scholarships that we have listed.
Hello, everybody. I am Rachel. I am one of the admissions counselors for Emory and Henry College. I'll get to the information on the screen in a moment. First, I do want to mention a little bit about Emory and Henry in general. We are a small private liberal arts school in the southwest corner of Virginia. We are about 30 to 45 minutes just north of the Tennessee and North Carolina borders. So we're as close as you can get without actually crossing that border. We are a smaller school, a lot like Caroline said. We are very much so small, family style, 13-to-1 student to faculty ratio. We also have our application online, both on our website and through the Common App. It is a free application. We are test optional and essay optional for 2021. So please don't hesitate to reach out, talk to us, fill out that application. Health sciences at Emory and Henry is definitely one of our top areas. We have undergraduate degrees in biology, chemistry, psychology, and exercise science, as well as a pre-health program to help students that are interested in any of the healthcare fields in any way. Our graduate programs includes things like our Master of Occupational Therapy, our Master of Physician's Assistant Studies, a doctorate in physical therapy. So there are a lot of options. This picture that you can see on the screen now is the picture of our health sciences building, which is one of our 5 campus locations. This is where all of our graduate programs are housed. And at the moment we are in development and hoping to start a Master of Clinical Mental Health Counseling in 2021. So there are a broad array of opportunities at Emory and Henry.
Hello, everybody. My name is Brenna, and I'm an admissions counselor at Johnson & Wales University. So I know for those of you who may be familiar with Johnson & Wales, a lot of people think of culinary arts and our food programs, but we do have more than that. So I just kind of want to talk about why Johnson & Wales for a health science program. So we are located in Uptown Charlotte. We are right inside the Uptown Loop. And so having that Uptown setting is a really great benefit to our students. You have connections with all of those businesses, and it's really just a great location to make those connections and get those internships and all of that. If you could go back to the last slide. Thank you, ma'am. So our average class size is about 18 to 20 students. We do have a small campus population. It's about 1,500 students. So on the smaller side, the largest class size that you'll see will be 40 students. Again, once you get into some of those more major specific courses, you'll actually see those class sizes decrease. So it'll be even less than that. And something I do want to point out is that on our campus, we don't have any lecture halls. We do really have a strong focus on experiential education. So you'll be in those labs, you'll be doing hands-on work, internships. So really we have a focus outside of the classroom and really getting that hands-on approach. And then, like I said, we are in Uptown Charlotte. So we've got Novant Health, Atrium, all located right there. We are one of the largest healthcare centers in the Southeast. So it's a great city, a great area to grow in. And then all of our freshmen do take the same schedule. So for both our health science and our public health programs, you start off on the same track. So that way, if you don't necessarily know which path is right for you, you can take those courses, kind of explore your options, and then make a decision after your freshman year. And then we do have a leadership and management track as well. So for students who want to go more towards that management and administrative side, or possibly an MBA in the future, we do have that option as well for you. So our health science is a new program for this year, and this is going to be more of a lab-based program. So you're definitely going to have some science lab heavy courses like biology, biochemistry, things like that. And there's a couple different options for students. So you can obviously pursue graduate studies afterwards. There's plenty of different pathways. As you can see here, physician assistant, physical therapy, like I said, with that MBA leadership and management track, there's different options if you do want to continue your education. And then there are some career pathways as well for those students who want to work right afterwards. A couple career options like are listed here: research analytics, pharmaceutical sales, things like that. So it's really a broad study here, so you can kind of choose where you want to go afterwards. And then we also have a new public health program as well. So this will be more of a classroom-based program. You'll still have some of those science labs, but you're going to be doing a little bit more classroom-focused. So obviously still doing a little bit of health science, but some other courses as well. And there are, with all of our programs, plenty of free electives and things. So if you are interested in culinary arts, you can do a culinary nutrition, culinary science add-on to kind of take your public health or health science degree to a different area. Again, similar options with graduate pathways or career pathways. If you want to pursue a Master of Public Health afterwards, that's an option. Again, that leadership track. And then some career pathways obviously include some data or research analytics. If you want to be a health educator or healthcare administrator, this would be a great option for that. And then this is a little bit about our application process. So the application is live. It's on our website or through the Common App, or you can also use CFNC. We do have a paper application available as well, if that is your preference. No matter what way you choose to apply, we don't have an application fee. And the only document we need is going to be your high school transcript. So we are a test optional school, and we are always test optional. You are free to submit those scores. And if you happen to have a personal essay or letters of recommendation, feel free to submit those as well. We do a holistic review of whatever documents you submit. We do have an early action option for students who want to apply by November 1st. You can get your decision starting November 15th. Otherwise, we do have a regular rolling admissions deadline of March 1st. And then there are these two programs in particular do have some special review requirements. So we do take a close look at that transcript. So just make sure it is an accurate reflection. And then if you do have those SAT or ACT scores and you like them, submit those as well.
Thank you, everyone. And Dr. Webster, I have to apologize real quick. Sorry, you guys. I didn't share some of our new amenities, and that's my bad. but we have new labs, we have a new nursing lab, new simulation lab, all those neat things. But it's okay because I think we all shared all of our wonderful assets that we have at our schools. And I think the plus for this is that I was impressed to find out how we all have like the programs where hopefully we'll have some interested students. And once again, I'm gonna say if a school is too small and a kid is not interested in coming to a small rural town, but they're gonna get all that love if they did, but they wanted to go to West Virginia or they wanted to stay in the city and go to stay in Charlotte. Gardner Webb is also in Charlotte. Rachel, where are you located?
We are in that southwest corner of Virginia, right above the Tennessee and Georgia and North Carolina borders.
So if someone's interested in going that area, you have amazing people on this panel. So you'll have an opportunity. I'm going to take my mugshot off and just show you all the beautiful ladies on this slide so that if you want to just grab the information, and if there's any questions that you would like to ask in the chat room, feel free to do that now. I'm going to keep flipping back and forth to all the admissions reps information so you won't miss it. So don't think that I'm going too fast. I promise I'll come back so that you can get the information from each and every one of us. Once again, I want to tell you thank you. And if you have any questions, we're going to stay on so you can answer any questions for us, okay? Or from us. We'll answer the questions for you. I also wanted to mention, Dr. Webster gave some information with some statistics about pay. We'll make sure that you get that information because I'm sure you would like to see it. I'm a visual person, so even if somebody told me how much money I can make, I actually still want to see it on paper so that I can have some type of incentive or goal to figure out exactly what I want to do. I know each and every one of us will say this, at least I can say this at this point. When choosing a career or something that you're interested in, don't do it just because of the money. Do it because it's something that you love. And to say that the money will come. So if you go into something just for the money and then you realize that you don't enjoy it, it's going to be very stressful for you. And you're not going to be able to service the people that you thought that you wanted to. So with that being said, please make sure that whatever you decide to do, because you would be an essential worker, make sure it's something that's going to be passionate for you and that you're actually going to enjoy.
I also just want to add, I know Shannon mentioned it at the beginning, that maybe you think you're going to be interested in nursing or one of the other health science fields that we talked about today, but maybe you're not really sure. You know you want to work in the healthcare, health services industry. So look at the schools that you have on your list and see what they offer in terms of maybe general health sciences studies at the beginning. Work with your advisors at that specific school to see how you can tailor your interests, your skill set to the degree that you end up choosing. So you'll want to just make sure that you're setting yourself up for the most successful outcome. And if that's not starting at within a nursing program or applying to the School of Medicine, you can always find out how you can kind of have more of the generalized health sciences major track initially and then become a little bit more concentrated once you've started taking the classes.
And Shannon, I'd like to add to that is when you make these visits to the campuses, reach out through your admissions coordinators and talk to some of the professors. We are more than willing to step in and have a chat with you and tell you about our areas of specialty. There's nothing like actually talking to a person that has walked the walk and has the experience of what we do in each of the disciplines. One of the things, if you're still in high school or you're associated with a university, you can check out the Health Occupation Students of America. It's a wonderful club. They help you discover and explore the many different areas in healthcare, whether it's mental health, public health, whether you're a clinician or informatics or a healthcare administrator. The HOSA clubs do very well.
Thank you for that, Dr. Webster.
I'll add on to that. I know our institution does, and I know probably some other ones as well, but if you are a member of HOSA, there are scholarship opportunities available for you. So definitely list those things on your application when you're applying. It really is a great benefit if you do participate in those organizations. Continue that on and you'll get the benefits from it.
I was trying to see if I could share that information, that screen that Dr. Webster had, and looks like I'm not having a whole lot of luck. I was hoping.
Do you want me to try one more time?
Yes.
Okay. So let me share screen. And
It usually gives me the option to share so that you can see it, but it's not giving me that option to pass it.
okay. So how about now?
Okay, now we can see it. Yes.
Okay, well, awesome. This information comes from, as I said earlier, the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics, and this is their website that you can go. Once you click on this website, you can click into any of the healthcare managers, the biomedical engineers, OTAs, PTAs, OTs, and PTs, and it will give you the median pay as of 2019. It gives you the typical entry level. And the work experience that's needed, so less than 5 years, a couple years of experience, and then it gives you that outlook for the next 10 years of how quickly this field, this discipline is going to be growing. And like Shannon said earlier, you do not want to go into a profession just because of the salary, but you do want to know, and it's a good idea to be able to understand what your likes are and what your dislikes are. You do not have to be clinical. You can become a healthcare leader in mental health, in public health, in informatics, and biomedical engineering, and forensics medicine. These are all areas that are great. But these are some biomedical engineers looking at a bachelor's degree. For the occupational therapist and the therapist assistants, you have 84 and 59,000 respectively. And these are beginning. I have hired many in the past year, and it's based on experience. It's based on you. It's based on your drive. It's based on your characteristics. Remember, we're looking for those people who have vision, who are innovative, who are detailed oriented and have those interpersonal skills. So that's why it's so important. All these other courses that you take help you to develop those skills that help you to be successful within your current field. And the nurse anesthetist, the midwives, once you receive that bachelor's degree, that RN, and you can have some experience and increase your education and move into any of these specialties.
So Dr. Webster, and I think I'm going to speak for the whole team so you guys can all answer the questions. Since nobody wants to ask us questions, I'll ask the questions and then everybody can answer. So I don't know why we have so many shy people on the call, because we can't even see them, so they don't have to worry about if they're asking a bad question. So one of the questions I want to ask is, can a student who's interested in going into this area, can they have a seat?
It depends on the program. Okay, some of the clinical programs are requiring Bs at in your sciences and in your main courses. It depends on the program itself. So that's going to depend on the university and the discipline that you're going into. Nursing usually requires a B. Some of the other programs, a C is definitely acceptable.
Okay. Anybody else want to piggyback from any of our other schools to see what some of the requirements are going into some of your programs?
Sure. So our health science majors are some of the most competitive, so you would want to do as well as you can within your high school curriculum, but then also really that first semester as you're figuring out your areas of interest. And some of these professional programs do require a test score. So it doesn't have to be the ACT or the SAT. It could be the TEAS exam or other formats specifically for that industry, but keep that in mind as well so that you can prepare, beginning in high school and then again, really that first year.
Yay, guys, we have a question. You ready to read for us? Okay, yay.
So my name's not Rachel, but I'm ask the question anyway. My name's Antoine from Emory and Henry College, and I'll be on the panel today.
Okay.
Answering any questions that any students have.
Okay, we have one question. You want to read it for us?
Yeah, sure. So are there any pediatric programs at any of these schools?
Good question. Good question. So anybody want to go first, or I can go first?
Chime in. So Emory and Henry does not have a pediatric focus at the moment. If pediatrics is something that you want to go into, you're definitely more than welcome to talk to your advisor, because they can definitely help you pick out classes that will gear your education towards that pediatric degree later on. But at Emory and Henry at the moment, we do not have a pediatric focus.
And I think I can go ahead, Dr. Webster.
I was going to say, it depends on the discipline as well. You want to have your foundation in nursing, foundation in medicine, foundation as a PA or as a physical therapist. And then once you meet that foundation, you can develop those skills. So sometimes those specialties are post-grad after you receive your basic education. I received my PTA degree and then went into pediatrics as an outpatient and working in the schools. And I gained my new information, my pediatric specialty, through continuing education and working with therapists that are in the field. So getting your degree first and then specializing depending on the discipline is a pathway that you can choose.
So basically, are you saying also, would you suggest, like, any person that's going into medicine, their major for undergrad is going to be like anything in sciences, correct? Like biology or
your biologies, your chemistries, your physics, yes.
Exercise science.
Exercise science, yes.
Okay. Very good. We got a question. I think I just kind of teach them a little bit so that they can ask the question. Yay. Any more questions for us?
I would like to chime in on that question on our end, or I feel like for everybody as well. That's the beauty of internships as well, is that you can do an internship in pediatrics to see if you like it or not before you really dive deep into it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We have another question. Are there any full ride opportunities, as in scholarships?
So I'm going to say this first. And as a mom that has 2 daughters, and they have athletic and academic for them, but a full ride is, I want to kind of say it's obsolete, but it's not. Let me just tell you what you're going to have to do as a student. That full ride could be that every week, starting this week, you start looking for scholarships. The more research you do to look for scholarships, and I mean scholarships that may not even require your GPA, but it requires you to do a good essay, and it requires you to have community service. So for a full ride, yes, you can get a full ride, but it's going to take some hard work and research on your end to start looking for all that money that you can find, because most of the institutions, universities and colleges will take the scholarships that from Coca-Cola or from a hospital, from Bojangles because you worked there, from a credit union, from a community center that you volunteered for, from the YMCA, from all these different organizations that you can actually seek out scholarships. But there's money that's out there, but you're going to have to take out the time. And I'm not going to say we all have the time, but you're pretty much, a lot of schools are still virtual. So when you're doing your homework in between times, I know you can surf on your phones to see the different scholarships in your state or in your city, so that you could be that particular student that gets a full ride.
Another question. Any recommendation for a major in pediatric?
I think if you start looking at the schools of nursing, schools of medicine at each of the institutions that you want to apply to, then they'll also share those specialty or the tracks, as Dr. Webster mentioned. So at WVU, School of Nursing, School of Medicine will have a track for pediatric education if you know that you want to work with that population. So nursing, medicine, if you guys can think of any other schools specifically.
Undergraduate, stick with things like biology, chemistry, your basic sciences. Those will be your undergraduate. Graduate will be those nursing degrees, that Bachelor of Science in Nursing those will be your undergraduate level things. Pediatrics in particular, you won't specialize in until you get into that graduate level track.
All right. Thank you so much, panelists, and thank you all for joining us. When you close this window, you'll receive a link to a short 4-question survey. We appreciate any feedback you'll share with us. Also, this was just one of many sessions that will be going on for the next month. So please be sure to check out the full schedule at CACRAO.org. That's CACRAO.org. And in about a week's time, this particular session and all others will be available for on-demand viewing also at the CACRAO website. That's CACRAO.org. Thanks again and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.